Mr. Banks.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. A few days ago, Treasury Secretary Yellen went to China as part of what the Biden administration is calling their thaw strategy with Beijing. It doesn't appear that Beijing is really interested in the same thing that the Biden administration is when it comes to that so-called thaw strategy. But also today, Secretary Blinken met with the top diplomat from China in Jakarta to also talk about the same strategy, to talk about and denouncing, Secretary Yellen literally denounced the idea of decoupling our economy from China's economy when she met with them a few days ago. Mr. Kazi, can you talk about maybe, give this committee an idea of what is the thaw strategy? What's the administration going for here?
Well, the idea is that supposedly a lot of pressure has been ramped up over the last 4 to 5 years, and that it's time to make sure that we're telling Beijing that we are not trying to get into a war with you. But if I may, I think right now the time is to clarify our intent, but to showcase that we have resolve here, that there's the problems that we're facing, that we've been talking about, all the supply chain stuff, the investment stuff, et cetera, that we are going to be taking corrective measure here, and that's the message that needs to be delivered. There's very competent people in the administration. I wish Catherine Tai, the USTR, would have more of a role in delivering America's messages.
So you're as skeptical of the thaw strategy as many of us on this committee are. It obviously doesn't.
Yeah, I think, again, clarifying intents is a great thing between two great powers, but now is not the time to say, well, look, we're not really trying to de-risk, we're not really trying to decouple, et cetera, et cetera. I think, we need to explain what the problems are and what solutions we're trying to implement.
Help us out, Mr. Kazi, as well. To what degree are U.S. financial investments powering China's military-civil fusion strategy?
The problem is that the lack of disclosure and transparency means that we simply don't know that today, to my knowledge at least.
Can you speculate?
Pardon me?
Can you speculate or expand on that?
So look, we don't know where American financial companies are investing their money, right? We don't know which companies are invested in, or even broadly what sectors they're invested in. I mean, that information needs to be obtained in order to answer the specific question you're asking.
Yeah. Would you agree that there's no such thing, we've already explored this question, but there's really no such thing as a truly private company in China?
Everybody thought the Alibabas of the world were the big, bad private entrepreneurial companies out there. Well, look, what the golden share policy that's taking place. The Communist Party has a position on the boards of these big tech companies now. They will have a voice in the strategic direction of the company. So that gets at the point you're trying to make.
Yeah, so when Secretary Yellen goes and literally bows to her Chinese Communist Party counterparts and talks about the administration softening a stance on decoupling our economies, how damaging is that toward sending a clear message to Beijing that we're not screwing around anymore?
Yeah, I think we need to send a stronger, more powerful message. Responsible way, absolutely, but that we have resolve.
Okay, thank you. I yield back.